Congratulations to the top three qualifiers for the 2020 FIA Formula One Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Starting in third place, Max Verstappen. In second place, Sergio Perez. And taking the 99th pole position of his Formula One career, our pole sitter, Lewis Hamilton. Lewis, tremendous performance. Well done. It's so close between Mercedes and Red Bull this year. Just how satisfying is this pole?
Thank you. I'm just amazed at how close it is, and how exciting that is. You know, it really adds to the fire and to the adrenaline rush. And you know, I didn't know, of course, whether or not these guys had improved on that last lap for quite some time. So I was definitely nervous, and that's the excitement of closer racing. But really grateful to the team. We came here, the car was feeling better already from the first lap out, and I think that's probably track dependent, but really good steps forward, just one step at a time all weekend, and fantastic work from everyone. You
say the car feels better. Just can you tell us a bit more about that? Where are the improvements over Bahrain 3 weeks ago?
Well, Bahrain, obviously the temperature's a lot different, the track surface is a lot different. So Bahrain, we always struggle with overheating and a lot of crosswinds. We don't seem to have that here, and it's much cooler, so we're very rarely over the temperature of the tyres. So that's kind of brought us more aligned, I think, with the Red Bulls. And I think it's really focusing on balance, refining the balance. Is a very narrow window of tyres operating at their best, and also our car has it's more on the knife edge, I would say, than previous years.
And Lewis, finally, can you just describe the thrill of a qualifying lap around Imola? So narrow, so fast.
It's incredibly fast here, and the speeds that we're doing and the accuracy that we need. You saw obviously Lando just one, a couple of inches to the right, and you're off track, and you're over track limits. And you really need to use every inch of the road here, and the speed that we're traveling through that first couple of corners. It's all medium and high speed here. Generally, there's no real slow corners. So it's phenomenal. It's a beautiful lap, and it's obviously got the history. So much great history. I remember watching Mika and Ayrton and Michael here, and so it's pretty phenomenal to come to a circuit like this and have a good day like today.
Thank you, Lewis, and well done. Checo, coming to you, many congratulations. This is your first front row start in Formula One. How good was not only your Q3 lap, but your session as a whole?
Yeah, thanks. It was a very, very good session from our side, because every time we are on the car, we're making big steps, so it was a good session in that regard, because every time I'm driving this car, I'm just learning something new, and that's pretty good, if there is a place that you don't want to come in your second race with a new team, it's probably Imola. It's one of the most difficult circuits around to put a lap together. The limit is, as Lewis described, everything is so narrow. You are millimeters all the time from the grass, so to be there, to be here in my second race, it's a pretty good step from our side, which shows that definitely we are making good steps. But I think at the moment, the most important is that we keep making those steps, and that we understand today why we went quick, and that we can keep that level of consistency just getting better.
You mentioned earlier a mistake on your final lap. Just how much time do you think it cost you?
Enough to be on pole position.
Okay, well, that's frustrating. But looking ahead to the race tomorrow, you're lining up alongside Lewis Hamilton. How important is the start?
No, it's very important. Today has been a good day, but what really matters is tomorrow. I think we have a fantastic car for the race. We are on different strategy to Lewis, and I think as a team we're going to be pushing pretty hard, and hopefully tomorrow our Red Bull wins.
Thank you, Checo. And Max, coming to you, after the frustrations of yesterday with the drive shaft failure, just how good was the car today, first of all?
Yeah, it felt all right. in FP3, and yeah, just in qualifying. Few, you change from tires from soft to medium, trying to put your lap in, and it was all coming along nicely. But then in Q3, the final run, yeah, I just didn't have a good lap. I mean, I went off in turn 3 with 2 wheels. I mean, I know that Honda makes good lawnmowers, but I don't think this one is suited for that. At least I tried, but yeah, no, it was just really a scrappy lap, and I haven't had that in a long time. So you just need to understand why that happened. But yeah, nevertheless, I think we were very close, so that's positive. And I think, like Checo said, we have 2 cars, close to Lewis on different tires. So hopefully that will give some excitement tomorrow.
We can sense the frustration now, but looking at the positives, what is the race pace of the Red Bull like around here?
Well, yes, it seemed all right. I mean, I didn't do any long runs, but yeah, we'll have a look at it. I don't think it will be a big issue, but it's hard to overtake here. So we'll see what we can do.
And final question from me. Do you feel Mercedes have closed the gap to Red Bull here compared to Bahrain?
It's always difficult to say, but at least from what I can see, it all seems a bit more, let's say, under control, a bit more predictable on boards.
Okay, thank you. We'll open this up to the video conference now. We'll start, please, with Alex Kalinauckas from Autosport.
Thank you, Tom. It's a question for Lewis, please. Lewis, first of all, congrats on pole position. I was just wondering, could you please just talk us through your 2 runs in Q3? I think you were fractionally slower on the second run, so just what was different compared to the first one that got you pole? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I think, honestly, once we finished P3, for example, we had that gap to the Red Bulls. I couldn't go 6/10 faster. But we just kept our heads down and worked on just tweaking the car just a little bit into qualifying. Generally very, very smooth, great strategy in terms of, getting us out in nice, clean air on all of our runs. And of course, managed to do my time on the medium. And then I got to have a practice run on the soft. And then I knew going into qualifying, and particularly that last lap, was going to take something special. Really had to be the most perfect lap that I could do, and a little bit more in order to beat the Red Bulls, because they really have been so fast all weekend. So, and I didn't honestly know whether or not we could do it. But that last lap, it started up. The first lap, for example, of Q3 started, I think, a 10th up out of turn 1 and 2, and I knew that I was on to a good lap. But the second, I think it was the second sector, lost a little bit in turn 12. So the second time round, unfortunately, came out of turn 1 and 2 a 10th and a half down, I think it was, or a 10th down. And by the time I got to turn 9, I was 10th and a half down. But managed to regain that through the middle and the last sector. So having those 2 together, I think, would have been the perfect lap. But I'm honestly so happy with that lap. The first lap really is obviously where it counted. So grateful for it.
Thank you, Lewis. We'll go next, please, to Scott Mitchell from The Race.
Thank you, Tom. It's a question for Checo, please. Checo, you've said before, openly admitted that it's going to take some time to get that one lap performance, and it looked like for most of the events so far that was the case here, quite a bit off of Max, and then it just seems to come to you through qualifying, and especially with that big step in Q3. Can you explain sort of where exactly that came from?
Yeah, I think just understanding where to get the time. I have a pretty good reference in Max. He's just getting 100% all the time out of the car, and just adapting myself to it, just learning step by step. I wasn't expecting myself to be here at the moment, because I feel that I'm miles away, from where I should be. Things are not coming naturally yet. So it's good. It's a good boost in confidence, not just for myself, also for the team. To make them feel that they have both drivers, and that we can push the team forward together. That's an important bit. And yeah, hopefully from here on we just keep that progress, and tomorrow we do another step in race performance. And yeah, it's a target just to keep step by step. No, I'm not in a hurry. I know that I'm not where I should be, but certainly it's positive to be up here just in my second race with the team.
Thank you, Checo. Max, coming to you, Fred Ferre from L'Equipe has just sent this in. He says, look, appreciate that it's a frustrating day for you today, but in which areas do you feel a different driver to the one who started in 2015? Where do you think you've changed and progressed the most?
I guess just general experience in car racing in general, because I only did 1 year in F3. So just all of, the understanding of a race car, racecraft, tires, tire management, a lot of things, to be honest. So, which you learn, you keep learning every year, every single race. I mean, I think I had a good day again for that, to learn what went wrong and what can be done better. So you just constantly keep improving, keep trying to understand things, also what go wrong, and you try to become better. And that has been like that. From 2015.
Thank you, Max. We'll go back to the video conference and to Christian Manat next, please. Motorsportmagazine.com.
Thanks, Tom. Another question for Max. As you've mentioned, it doesn't happen very often that you do mistakes in qualifying. Do you have already an explanation? Is it something different when you know you're fighting for pole position, you're in a different situation, different mindset? Or is it just that it sometimes happens?
It has been going really well for a very long time. So unfortunately, we are not robots. I can't program myself like that. But yeah, sometimes, it happens that you make a mistake.
Thank you. Next up, please, Andrew. Andrew Benson from the BBC.
Thanks, Tom. This one's for Lewis. Lewis, there was an exchange between you and Bono on the radio where you were both sort of sounding incredulous about the fact that you'd managed to get pole. And I noticed that Valtteri's a long way behind you today. Was this one of those laps from you like Singapore 2018 and whichever one it was last year? I forget, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, apologies for that. Where you've really pulled it out? Or was there a different explanation?
Well, thanks for noticing, Andrew. I think, honestly, I guess we've not really hyped it up too much, but the fact is, like, as you saw, obviously, in the last race, there was a good gap to the Red Bulls. I think we did feel we can close it up a little bit coming into this weekend, but that was a really clean qualifying session. And I guess just time and time again, just be tweaking and adjusting in terms of my own performance. I'm really grateful that I'm still making steps in the right direction. And yeah, it was a real surprise. The team definitely did not, anyone in the team expected to be on pole today. But of course, that's what I was gunning for. But it really was the tidiest lap that I could put together and a little bit more. So whether or not it was a Singapore lap or not, it's a different vibe, but it definitely was good.
Thank you, Lewis. Next up, please, Phil Duncan from PA.
Cool, thanks, Tom. Lewis, I suppose it's just a follow-up on that, really. I mean, do laps like these show that you're still, at the top of your game? Not perhaps you need to prove to yourself, but to others that you're, still the main man out there. And Max, I suppose the question to you is, do you think you need to finish ahead of Lewis tomorrow in terms of the championship? You probably don't want to let Lewis continue to build a lead. Thank you.
Hey, Phil. I think, well, you already saw from the get-go. We knew in Bahrain that it was going to be close, and it is going to be close throughout this season. And it's going to take laps like that. It's going to take us as a team performing as close to perfection as possible, not leaving any stone unturned. And I know that's kind of the idea going into most weekends, but we can't afford any slip-ups. And I think so far we've really been firing in all cylinders, and we still are hunting, believe it or not. I think today was just really fortunate. I think as Sergio was saying, it wasn't the perfect lap for him, but I think for all of us, we're operating at such a high level. The differences are milliseconds between us all, and we could all go back and look at our data and say we can go faster. But at the end of the day, it's what you do in that one moment that counts, and so that's what we really try and focus on.
Thank you. And Max, please.
Yeah, it's a very long season, so it's not only about tomorrow.
Thank you. Next up, please, Luke Smith from Autosport.
Thank you, Tom. So a question for Max. We saw last year here at Imola that Mercedes were able to essentially split strategies with their two cars to try and get the jump on you. This year, it's a bit of a role reversal. We've got two Red Bulls at the front of the grid and only one Mercedes. How much of a stronger position do you feel in compared to Imola last year with Checo as your teammate now?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we have to wait and see what is going to happen tomorrow. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. What can be done, but not only with that, also what the weather is going to do, if there is a bit of rain or not. So I guess we just have to wait and see what's going to happen. But yeah, hopefully in the race it will be close again.
Thank you, Max. We'll go back to Alex Kalinauckas again, please.
Thanks, Tom. It's a question for Sergio this time. Sergio, can you please explain the decision to use softs in in Q2? Why didn't you use the mediums like Max to get the better starting strategy? Thank you.
Yeah, we felt as a team that the soft is nowhere near where it was last year. So it's a good race tire. It's just different to the medium, and it's important. It was very important and crucial for me to get that learning, that consistency and that progression. Last time I missed Q3 and really getting those laps, Slee was described. Yeah, we could all look back and we can all do better, but just getting in that mood with the car is very important for me, that to be able to put it when it matters. I needed this clean qualifying. Whether or not is the right or wrong strategy, I don't think it's much between them. So we're definitely in the game for tomorrow.
Thank you, Checo. And we'll finish with Christian Minat again, please.
Thanks, Tom. Question for Lewis. The other way around, there was the question to Max earlier. Usually it was always 2 against 1 for Mercedes because you always were there up with Valtteri. This time it's the other way around. So what does this change for you, and how difficult does it make that Valtteri is not there?
Yeah, it's much different, Christian, from obviously the past experiences. Very rarely have I seen. I can't remember the last time I saw the two Red Bulls so close. So I think tomorrow, of course, they have these. If we're able to get off in order, then they obviously have a bit of a better set of cards in terms of strategy. But that doesn't mean we can't pull out something unique and do something different. I'm not really sure what happened with Valtteri. It's very hard to overtake here, so obviously probably won't have the support of him early on. But nevertheless, maybe he'll make it through. But otherwise, we've just got to focus on our job and try to do absolutely everything and more to keep these guys behind.
Thank you, Lewis. Thanks to all three of you. We'll leave it there. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you.